talk about something we haven't talked about in a long time. And when I say a long time, I'm talking about 45 minutes or so. Let's talk about Star Trek. We're talking about Star Trek.
Whoa, we're going to talk about Star Trek today?
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Blast from the past. We haven't talked about Star Trek in a long time.
Mm.
All right. Star Trek Strange New Worlds. If you don't know what this is, Star Trek Strange New Worlds is the new show they're developing that is going to be following Pike's 5-year mission. So, technically, what?
10-year mission.
10-year
well,
mission.
It was supposed to be 10 years, but apparently it's like actually only 8 years because Discovery took up 2 of them, so hard to say.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I get. They're supposedly 10 years before Kirk becomes captain of the Enterprise.
Right. They're just trying to buy. They're hoping that if it's a hit, they want to buy themselves as much time as possible before they have to actually start explaining the original series. Is that what you're saying?
Right. They basically have. They can have about 8 seasons. I guess is what we're talking about.
So let me ask you a question, Shane. Do you think that might have been a bad idea, perhaps, to set Discovery that close?
No, not really, because they didn't know that Strange New Worlds was going to happen. What's interesting about Strange New Worlds is that this is 100% fan-driven. 100%. They had no intention of doing a Captain Pike series. But there was no intention of it.
The only thing anybody liked about Discovery was
Captain Pike.
Captain Pike.
The one thing.
It's so funny, bro.
It really is a hilarious story. You know what?
Capitalism wins again, I guess, huh?
Right. If we get now, I will kiss Discovery on the helm. Okay. If I swear to God, if this turns out to be as good as I believe it can be, then I'm going to be so grateful that Discovery happened to get us to this place. There are some things happening with Star Trek Strange New Worlds that's completely different to the way that they're doing things right now. I believe, from just everything we've kind of seen and heard, that we're going to be getting something that is very similar to the original series in the way it was created. I think we're going to get a bridge crew. I think we're going to get a relationship between 3 characters like we have Spock, Bones, and Kirk. We're going to get with Pike, number 1, and Spock. Okay, we're going to get a similar type of relationship. I know why you're laughing, but all right. So, but here's the thing. Even better, you know what the best news of this whole thing is, Brian? You know what the best news is?
What?
The best news is that this will be episodic television.
Will it be?
It will be. That's what they're reporting.
Will it be?
It is episodic. That's right. It is not season driven. It is episodic.
Okay. So let me just break in here,
which saves all.
Shane is like slobbering all over this. I love it so much. It's gonna be amazing.
I have hope that even though it's a Kurtzman thing.
Yeah. Don't forget, I like science. Look. All right. That's great. If it is, it's still following. It's still coming out of a core that is essentially rotten. And I'm not saying that like Discovery is a rotten TV show. I'm saying that like it doesn't work in Discovery on its head. Just doesn't work in Star Trek.
Well, you're right.
But this is coming from a piece of Discovery that doesn't really work. So like, how much can you course correct to get it back to where it needs to be?
Well, they get to start over from scratch. So here's the cool thing about this. I think that they realize Discovery is a hot soup sandwich.
Mess?
Okay, I do. I think they know it. And I think this is an opportunity for them to correct the ship.
Yeah.
Right? And to have success by taking some of the old things that worked, right?
Right.
And giving the fans what they want. And what the fans want is I'm not saying they need episodic television, but they want something that makes sense in the Star Trek universe. So if we're starting off with the right uniform. So hallelujah, amen. Something's going to start off right. here to
true.
begin with.
The uniforms are
correct.
They're correct.
You know, if the bridge looks even remotely like it should, updated appropriately, but still with the flavor of something. Yeah, that is right. That is right. So now, what do we know? Anson. Love this. I love Anson Mount, dude. Okay, Anson Mount. What did he say? He said when they announced that they were working on this thing, he says, we are working on a classic Star Trek show that deals with optimism and the future. Okay? That's the words out of his mouth. Now, hopefully they stuck to that, and that's what ends up happening. But, you know, we already like him as an actor. We know he can play the role. The Spock guy is still growing on us a little bit. I'm not sure what to think of him.
I hate him. I don't like him at all.
We didn't like him in Discovery, 100%.
It's a horrible in Discovery.
But Rebecca Romaine.
I like Rebecca Romaine. And I like the fact that that was an actual character that didn't get any love in the TOS. Like, she can sort of just start from scratch.
Right. She can do anything. And
she's a character that we know of, but we didn't see in the proper canon of whatever Star Trek. Proper.
Right. Well, you got a little bit. You got. She eventually would be Nurse Chapel, right? Right. But
right. No, the actress, right?
The series, the actress,
but not the
right?
character.
She was there in the pilot. There was a number one.
Really?
Yeah, there was a female number one. I mean, no, listen, they were.
And it ended up being Nurse Chapel.
She ended up turning into Nurse Chapel.
But right? I mean, canon-wise, that's not the same character. It's not like they took number one and they downgraded her to Nurse Chapel.
No. What I'm saying is number one from the pilot is number one here. So we do know a little bit about that character. Now, she didn't have a commanding role like you would now. It was the 60s, and women didn't have the opportunities that they have now. Thank goodness times have changed. But Spock, what I understand about this relationship between the three is that Pike and number one are almost like big brother, sister, or mom, dad to Spock in a way. That's what I hear the relationship is going to be like. Interesting. So Spock's going to grow into who Spock will become. And I think it's going to be a very interesting. Well, I'm excited about it. And it's not, we need to get excited about new Star Trek because it's been unexciting. We got Picard member berries, which are cool. And we're interested to see what happens in Picard next season. But this is like an opportunity to not have to watch any more Discovery ever again. Right? That's what's, that's what we're hoping. What do you think?
I'll tell you this. I want new Star Trek, period. But because of how Discovery, even though I was not one of the Discovery haters or whatever, right?
No, we weren't. We gave it a fair shot. Yeah, we watched 2 seasons of it.
You and I gave it a proper shot. We tried to review it. We tried to see their angle, where they're coming from. And we didn't even pass judgment until we saw the whole picture.
True, 100%.
And once we saw the whole picture and how they didn't really explain the plot holes and the canon devices and everything that they did with Discovery, when they didn't explain that off, and they just sort of doubled down, we were like, okay, well, it's not a good show. That's it. Yeah. We're not trying to be, hater raiders or whatever, No, we're not part of that group of people. Aside from that, we know people on both sides of the argument. We legitimately attempted to give it a shot. We watched it we reviewed episodes. We talked about the good and the bad, just like we would any TV show. And when we got to the very end, and they didn't explain the plot armor, and they didn't explain the breaking of canon, and all these sort of various things, and they tried to reset. And when they did that hard reset, where it's like, oh, well, we're going to send it to the future, where it should have been in the first place. We're going to send it to the future, and then we're going to show Spock and all these officers, denying its existence because of Starfleet.
That's how you retcon that.
Security reasons, like, oh, it didn't ever existed. I don't even know what you're talking about. I don't have a sister. Okay, all right. When you explain it that way, like this, you know what?
It was the only way to get rid of it.
Let me explain though. Like they literally got rid of it. Like they literally like sent it away.
Yeah, it does not exist. Yeah.
There was this. I remember I was watching Star Wars, the prequels. I was watching. I want to say I was watching with our dad actually. I forgot exactly who. But there was this moment that came up where like, how does that work? Why is this that way? And I remember him going, "Oh, that's just lazy writing." I remember that so like vividly because like at the time that was a new concept to me. And that's why it stuck with me because now I see that and Star Trek Discovery saw that the fans were not happy with their sort of soft reboot of the entire franchise and how most writers didn't understand certain concepts like replicators didn't exist, the holograms, and all these weird technology sort of like buffs that didn't exist, in addition to the character misdrivens and the way people interacted were just like so outside of Star Trek norms. It was like jarring when they realized people pretty much hated it. Not everybody, but a lot of people hated it. The way they retconned it was with lazy writing. They sent it to the future and they told everybody that anybody that stayed behind that knew about it that it didn't happen because it's a Starfleet security risk. Okay.
Well, they did that. I think they did that, Brian, because they knew that Strange New Worlds couldn't exist alongside Discovery in the same part of the universe or same time frame. I think they knew the two could not exist together. And they had to get rid of Discovery to make room for the correction, which I believe is what this is.
So they had to make Discovery a bubble that happened in that. Yeah, that's less lazy.
What else could they have done, though? I mean, do you call it lazy or the only path that could be taken? What else could they have done?
Oh, so the first season, let's give them a mulligan, right? Let's
go. No. First season, I'm talking second season.
No, but let's go. The first season was bad. They realized that they have an entire second season to course correct that whole thing.
Well, they tried to. They tried to make changes.
They doubled down, and in that last episode, they just sent it off to space. They didn't want to admit that what they were doing was damaging to the canon.
Well, what I'm saying is how do they? What I'm trying to say is how do you leave Discovery in place and fix the problem? So you can't.
Yeah. Well, I mean, admit you have to course correct properly, not double down. Say basically, I don't want to take responsibility for the fact that we did something we wanted to do and it was anti-fans and it didn't work. We're just going to send it into space and act like it didn't happen. That's like, you know what it's like, bro? I'll tell you what it's like. It's like you get your kids a goldfish, you forget to feed that goldfish, it dies. You throw that goldfish away and get another goldfish that looks like it and act like it didn't happen. Hey, no harm, no foul.
It works. But I get what you're saying. But, if they would have left Discovery, you would have had this weird, it just wouldn't have worked. Sending him to the future gave Discovery an opportunity to continue moving. What they should have done is maybe just ended Discovery after 2 seasons. But in order to save face, they couldn't do that. There's no way they could dump their flagship show, the one they put everything behind, after 2 seasons. That would have been the right thing to do. Then you let Star Trek New Worlds, Strange New Worlds, just go take it from there.
They're making it so much worse though too. It's like you haven't seen season 3, have you?
I'm not going to watch it. I mean, I may watch it during when I absolutely am on my worst situation.
Bro, the future sucks.
Like
it's so. I don't want to make no spoilers here, but it sucks. It's so bad. Like it's as dystopian as a Star Trek future can get. Like Earth is gone, bro.
Oh, really?
I mean, it's there, but it's not. It's like taken over by xenophobes that won't let anybody in. And Starfleet's like a mess. It's like relegated to this tiny. Like no one can use warp speed. It's a mess.
How far in the future did they go?
900 years.
How far in the future they go?
900 years from that point. Whatever.
Good. Okay, so we have plenty of Star Trek that can be made before we ever run into that crap.
Right.
Okay.
that was a good decision.
Good choice.
They were like, you know what? This whole thing isn't working. We're going to send them in the future. But we're not going to send them in the future where they actually have to interact with Picard and crew. We're going to send them so far that we have plenty of runway before we have to deal with that.
Nice.
It's like 30 years from now, they got to deal with the events of Star Trek Discovery Season 3.
Then they're going to be like, why didn't we go 1,500 years in the
we
future?
should have just,
Why?
yeah, we should have went 5,000 years into the future.
Why didn't we slide him into a new dimension? Why
Oh,
didn't we
that would have been good. Send him to the mirror universe.
Well, they did go to the mirror universe.
Just send him back. That's where all the junk goes anyways.
Send him back to stay.
Yeah, so your primary question was, what do you think? I'm cautiously optimistic. Only because, look, man, you've hurt me before, okay? I can only tell people that I fell down the stairs so many times before they realize that I'm being beaten by Star Trek.
Yeah, dude, we used to use that analogy all the time. The battered,
It's such a horrible analogy.
The abused partner, right? Yeah. Well, if you guys are excited for Star Trek Strange New Worlds, it is supposed to be airing likely in the beginning of 2022. They're actually creating it right now. There's supposed to be 10 episodes.
Someone's in the chat, and they said, like, we were defending it. When Discovery first came out, we were defending. We're like, hey guys, we don't know what's up yet. Who knows? What if holograms are like a temporary thing? We don't know.
We did say that. Yeah,
we were making so many excuses to try to like defend what could work. We even made entire theory videos on how it can work.
Yeah. Then
the Borg fixes this, and this guy fixes this.
Well, we did. Yeah.
We tried everything. We made videos that had 1 million views that should have been in the hands of those writers at some point. They would have been like, you know what? That's a good idea. Let's try that.
Right.
No.
Well, and then they transported somebody from like a light year away, and we just lost our damn minds. And I was like, okay, no.
Yeah. The transporting from like the mycelial network. Like they had to make like this thing that creates a body. And that's how they got the guy back that clearly had already died. You're like, oh my God, stop.
Some people who spend a little bit too much time in their heads writing.
You're making this so hard.
Right. You're working too hard to make poop.
Yeah, you're making this. This is so complicated and like, it's deranged. Stop. Notice, like, we haven't made a whole lot of Star Trek Discovery. We haven't really made any. So once we got to the end, once we tried to predict the end and like show how it would wrap up nicely and fix itself, and it didn't play out, we were like, okay, we're done with Discovery. We haven't made anything about the future. We haven't talked about anything involving Discovery. Everything from there was like Picard and some other theories and stuff that had nothing to do with Discovery. We just like, cool, they're gone. We're done.
Yeah, when they went into the black hole or whatever they went into, that, I went, all right, there we go, they're gone. What's next?
Winner, chicken dinner. Yeah. What's that thing they do when you finish a hand in blackjack? When the blackjack dealer is done, they go.
Oh yeah.
Right.
So they don't have nothing.
Yeah, I'm done. We're good. Yeah. Okay, moving on. But Strange New Worlds. On that note, okay, back to this real quick. I'm cautiously optimistic in the fact that they are wearing the correct uniforms. They appear to be on the correct ship. Sorry, they are. It is the Enterprise. And they are doing episodic television, which is very important because that is sort of like the lifeblood of Star Trek, is that you can explore new concepts and stuff. Yeah,
they're going to be going down to planets, dude.
Yes,
they're going to be going on away missions.
But the reason I'm more cautiously optimistic than more cautious versus optimistic is because it is still taking place in the past, which means the writers might, for the sake of getting viewers, they might bump into stuff we've already seen and mess it up. And if they mess it up too much, then it's going to go down the same path as Discovery. And they might not have a choice. They might do this thing where like, we have to talk about, Scotty. We got to bring Scotty in. And they're going to try to get the member berries going.
I'd be okay with that.
If they do it right.
If they do it right. Yeah, but Scott, that I would be okay with. I would be okay with seeing the young versions of these people.
Or the older.
I wouldn't mind
if they go see Dr. Soon, he's actually the appropriate age now, the actor.
What? Like, for next gen?
Yeah, let's go say they see Dr. Soon and they talk about the crystalline entity. That kind of
I'm
stuff.
okay with that. That stays in canon. If hopefully it doesn't mess anything up if they're smart about it. But there's a lot of stuff that there were so many original series aliens and things that we have never looked at again that they can go into.
Yeah, what pisses me off the most about Enterprise is not Enterprise. Okay, I actually ended up enjoying Enterprise a lot. But the fact that we just never talked about Dr. Phlox's people again, or the Zindi, or the Suliban.
Yeah.
We never saw them again. They didn't even give them a chance to show them up on Discovery. Like these fascinating people, this fascinating history that just sort of disappear after in that time period. That was my problem with Enterprise. Not that they did that, because they have to do that. That's a Star Trek. You got to introduce new stuff.
Yeah.
But you got to somehow. That's why putting it in the past is hard. You have to now write around what's going to happen in the future in some way. You got to explain, where did Dr. Phlox's people go? Why did they just disappear? They were huge in the Federation. Now they're just gone.
No, that's such a really well said thing. And why didn't? And this is the mistake. This is why people were mad at Enterprise at the time. Why didn't they take some alien that we saw in the background somewhere that was in, next gen, TOS, anything that we didn't know anything about, and make Dr. Phlox that character, that race?
Right.
It would have been so easy to do.
It's so easy. Christian Slater's character in the motion picture.
They were lazy about it.
You remember he had those weird, Christian Slater's character had those weird feet. Remember that?
Well, and there's also, it depends on I remember that. But it depends, it is possible that we just haven't run into every alien. And I get that argument as well. Just because we watch Next Gen, just because we've seen everything else, doesn't mean we've seen every alien in the galaxy. The problem is when you tie them to the Federation, then it starts to become a little weird.
Right.
So
yeah, they should have taken whatever, a race that we saw in the many background shots in TOS and TNG and Voyager and name it, DS9, right? DS9 had so many. Yeah. Should have taken one of those aliens that you already had a template for, that we already had some kind of visit. We don't even know anything about them. Just make it that make that Dr. Phlox. Instead of creating a brand new alien from scratch that we never see in 200 years of Star Trek.
Yeah, that would have been the way to go. So hopefully they take a note from that, and when they do Strange New Worlds, they just remember, if they're going to introduce aliens, grab somebody that's already been around. Yeah. Take us to, the alien that Kirk fought, the dinosaur looking dude.
The Gorn.
Let's go fight. Let's go to Gorn planet.
Don't they talk about the Gorn in Discovery a little bit, right?
No, I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I'm pushing that out.
The Gorn comes up again. But yeah, you know what? That's a great point. You don't have to invent new aliens. If you're trying to fit it in the canon, grab one of the aliens that we've seen in passing a million times, so many times. My mind is starting to catalog all these aliens. Remember those weird things with TNG with the crazy crystalline heads? That's hard on makeup. I get it, but make it a helmet or something. Have them come in and they take the helmet off, then you can make that person look like whatever you want.
Yeah.
I mean, there's ways to do this. As clever writing versus lazy writing.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to get to before, but I'm very bad at verbalizing myself because I'm not good at talking.
I think you verbalized great. You verbalized wonderfully.
Shane's the talker in this relationship, okay, guys? He talks, and I mash keyboards.
Thanks for watching. To see the full conversation, become a member of the Popcast family. Use the link in the description below, or go to our channel and click the join button. Select your tier, and we'll see you at the next show.